basically, we yesterday myself, Bhargav and Timmy were setting goals for Q1 next year, and we decided that the goal should be a 60K of revenue over the 3-month period. And today, Bhargav and I came in the morning and wanted to basically lay out the different things we need to do over the course of the next 3 months to actually hit that goal. And we basically split it up into 3 broader categories, and we broke it down a little bit further, to get more clarity. So first off was internal operations. So internal operations, everything we do inside Beast among ourselves. And second is marketing, which is everything on the website, everything we do to get a client in the door. And also the last one is ECF, the equity crowdfunding process, which is everything we do once we actually have a client on board.
Okay.
So that's how we basically split it up. And our whole idea was that 1 or 2 people should lead each of these categories and be kind of accountable for them. That way there's clarity in the team regarding who's actually taking charge of each of these individual roles, and also it's easier for that person because they know they're in charge. They can like manage it a little bit better. So I'm gonna start off with like internal ops. So internal ops, like I said, is everything we do inside the company. So first thing we put out was accountability. So the whole goal here is that like every time we have a project, every time there's something we want to do, we should have one person who's accountable completely. An example here is like for the website we were working on this week. There was a little bit of confusion because a lot of people are doing kind of different things and not everybody was on board. But if there's one person who's completely accountable, you just need to call up that one person and be like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
And that kind of makes everything easier because he's the one who's in charge, he's the one who's taking charge of everything. So that was our whole idea of focusing more on accountability when we work anything we do inside. Second thing is communication. So we have emails, we have Slacks, we have a lot of different channels on Slack. If like when we have meetings on like Skype or whatever, so I think we have a lot of different modes of communication. And I think sometimes because we speak so much, things just fall through the crack. So when there's something important we want to say, I think we should have like a Slack channel or something reserved for something like we definitely want out there, because if I suppose I want to say something important, I put it out there and there's like 5 messages after about something else, that kind of gets buried.
Yeah.
And I like it's really hard to like understand like what was said before. So I think communication, and also like we use a lot of different tools as well, like HubSpot, and I like I spoke to you about before, like we need to like know what are the tools we're using so that we all are in sync regarding the way we communicate.
Yeah.
So that's one thing we put up, and next one is basically a process which is measurable short-term sprints. Because we're working on lots of different projects, I think breaking down this whole quarter goal, which is 3 months, into like 2-week sprints is really important, and making that measurable. So suppose we want to make 60K this whole quarter.
Right.
The first 2 week sprint will be getting the website done and getting one content piece out. And for 2 weeks, that's all we do as a company. That's 2 week sprint. After the 2 weeks are over, we like go over whether we hit our goal or not, whether we actually achieved our website and whether the content piece went out. If we did, awesome, we plan for the next 2 week sprint. If we didn't, we're like, what happened? What went wrong?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I think that's another process we want to we put up here. So I think breaking down the bigger task into like smaller chunks, so that it's easy, because putting out saying we're going to make 60K in 3 months is like really it doesn't really make sense, because it's like so far away. Right now we're so far away from that. So breaking it down is basically what we put down. And finally, meeting protocols. So this is something I put down because like the meeting we had regarding the website, things didn't get communicated properly. I think there has to be like a meeting protocol where we split up meetings into discussion-based meetings and action-based meetings. Discussion-based meetings is a place where we're all voicing our opinions, so it could be anything. And action-based meetings are a meeting where we need to make a decision at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
So if we need to make a decision at the end of the meeting, we stick to making that decision. And at the end of the meeting, we make a decision and everybody agrees on that one decision. If it's a discussion-based meeting, it's free for all, like speak your mind, do what you want. The whole point of it is get the word out.
Yeah.
So I think splitting up meetings into, I think that make us more efficient and make us like we'll save a lot more time and be more productive with meetings.
I think so.
That's basically the 4 things I put out for internal operations. And then for marketing is basically everything we do until the point that a client comes in. So first off, you have a landing page, website, basically landing page plus a form, which we've been working on this week. And the next one is general PR, getting a press release out there, making some noise. That's something we want to do over this whole quarter. Another one is content. We already have a lot of content, having a content strategy and getting the content out there. Then number 4 is outbound targeting. We want to be targeting startups who we think would be a good fit for what we're offering. And finally, it's network opportunities. We're in New York City, so like networking with startups, having events, the Columbia Angels event you were talking about, stuff like that. So
even webinars like AMAs, even it's virtual.
So these are all marketing, just us putting ourselves out there. And I think there's be one person completely in charge of this whole thing. And it doesn't mean that if someone is in charge of this, they're not going to be working on this. It's just what I'm talking about is accountability. So if someone is accountable for this, they're in charge of getting the content out. If the content doesn't go out, I can point a finger. So that's a little bit more pressure, but I think that's the only way things start moving. And then there's the ECF process, which you can totally relate to.
So, I mean, this is the stuff that we need to get in place, like the internal operations and marketing, so that we can actually execute this. And coming to the ECF process, I think there are two things. Some things are like more like things that we have to do first before anything else, which is basically identifying the scope of our services. So we need to know what we want to do when we get a client project, what we can do, what we can't do, and I mean we should be sure about that even before we engage on a call. And the second thing is obviously this kind of ties in well with the pricing strategy, because based on what we can do and what we can offer, we can kind of identify what are the ways we can make money. And it could be both ways. It could be like the fee-based thing, or like the success fee, or like more. So let's decide that based on this. And obviously we should identify what our overhead costs are.
Yeah.
So that it ties in well with the pricing strategy. And I mean we can make some accommodations for the month of Jan, but as things goes on, it
you
has
guys
to
have
be,
like unit economics.
And so this is basically the business model, and I think this would be something that we like work on and get done before we even like start something, or like before we take in projects. The next thing is obviously onboarding. So let's say someone comes in through inbound, or someone engages with us through an outbound sale, and what we want to have is like something that can be repeated again, and something that's more of a process here. So basically having a scenario-based pitch. So basically we kind of identified that people who come into the site, or like who need the service, can fall into like 4 to 5 categories. So making sure that we have the right thing to tell them based on which category they are in. And it could also be a combination of 2 things or 3 things, because someone might need 3 things out of the 5 or 4. So having this is important. And the second thing is we can have a call notes framework where like we kind of every time we go into a call, we have a document where we just like take notes or like mark things.
Yeah, for sure. I think definitely like basic note taking, but in a place of which it's retrievable.
And I think it's something, if we do it, like it's easier to just take a printout and actually write it down, because if you record, then it's something that's again an added work where you have to listen to the recording and then do
right.
it. I think if we do it as a practice where the first time we're on the call and we make these notes and stuff, it will be good. And also in terms of onboarding, let's like get the proposal sorted, have like a good design layout, and things on the proposal shouldn't change much. It should just be that the name, who it's going out to, would change,
totally,
and the pricing would vary based on
totally
things. And yeah, so these are some of the fixed things that we should have in place. And
3-2 to Arsenal.
Oh shoot!
What?
From 1-0 to 3-2.
Jesus.
This is crazy. I just saw 3 goals now.
I saw the Liverpool goal, and I saw like Arsenal come back with 1.
This is crazy.
Fucking A.
This is crazy.
This has to wait.
Yeah, I'm gonna pause this.